Well, here we are. It is March, so we are going over February's book. And February's book was You Happier by Dr. Daniel Amen, who is a MD, trained psychiatrist, who's been doing holistic stuff for a really long time. He is a ADHD guru. So, all right. Thoughts? I know Cece has a lot.
Yeah.
I love her flags.
I like this book a lot. I really like how it's structured. I really like the pictures of the brain. That was a really good visual. One of my favorite quotes from the book was, let me find it. I often think as a society we care more about our faces, breasts, bellies, and butts than we do our brains. I thought that really hit it on the head because just everything with Instagram, Facebook, social
It's
media.
all outside stuff, but we don't ever think about what our brain looks like. I remember being in undergrad working on my health degree, and I'd go out and do a lot of these health fairs, and we did a lung cancer one, and we took little CPR baby lungs. It's just a plastic piece with a sponge in the middle of it with a tube that comes out of the top of it, and we put a Capri cigarette. Y'all know the skinny ones, right? I know that's old, but it's the skinny ones. And we lit it and put it up to the tube and squeezed it and let all the toxins go in. And you could see all the yellow tar and the nicotine. And so you could see and you could tell people what was happening to their lungs when they would smoke. And so I think we think about that more. We also see it around, in Europe and in Mexico, they put the nasty picture of the lungs on there so you know what you're doing. But we don't ever look at our brain
the same way.
right? So that was very poignant to me too. The first time I read it and second time I read it.
No, I really liked it because of the format that it was in. I very much felt like I went to school to learn something.
It flowed nicely.
But then I also thought towards the end, I was telling Cece earlier, was it almost so smoothly turns into a self-help book towards the end. And I liked that because I feel and he says it in the beginning, right, of reading through the whole thing is great because it can help you have insight too on the people around you. But you could just go to your portion and read the part that that applies to you, in quotes, right? Applies to you, everything applies. But
right.
And then the back end is really great information that's it's a lot more readable and is less scholarly.
Yes.
Jargony.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's about a 300-page book, and the specifying piece starts.
It's early on.
About 50. It's where it gets into brain types, right? So being able to pick and choose through approximately 250 pages, right? So you don't have to read the whole 300, to your point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To be able to understand your spouses, your children, your coworkers, your parents, whatever. Absolutely. But start with you, right? So maybe 100 pages.
Maybe.
Maybe even 75. I think is really helpful to know when you endeavor into it, right? He also has a website that's very it's very pretty with all of the pictures of the brains, and so you can see not in black and white what he's trying to, because the SPECT scans. So for those of you who don't know what a SPECT scan is, I won't tell you what the abbreviation is because it won't mean anything to you, but what it is blood flow. It's measuring blood flow. And so when you look at a SPECT, it's got really pretty colors. It's like pinks and blues, and it's just purples. It's just pretty, which is really stupid to say, but it is. So, but that's what he's using to make the distinctions between these different brain types, right? And as I talk in here a lot, and you guys hear me talk about nutrition and hydration is so important because that dictates blood flow, right? So if you've got a tired, dehydrated, nutritionally sound brain, of course you can't function. So this helps to show what that blood flow is, right? So, do y'all have any other big pieces you want to hit on?
Well, like the nutritional piece that we talked about briefly earlier, how I was just thinking like, I focus on eating disorders. I'm very passionate about that. So in giving this or recommending this book to someone with an eating disorder, I would be a little nervous because of all the focus on the food, and it could just become so like obsessive, and it could also help with their specific brain type. So it's kind of like a very hard balance.
It's one of those catch-22s, right? And it's what the focus of counseling should be on all the time is balance. Balance, right? It's all the details that make a difference. And to your point, absolutely, you've already got, if there's an eating disorder on board, it is an OCD behavior, right? It's fueled by anxiety and control. So saying that these are the best foods for you to consume for your brain type could be all encompassing, hands down. But it could, once they leaned into it, 6 to 8 weeks, they could be feeling a lot better and maybe not so obsessive. So yes, it is
tricky.
It's very tricky, right? And that's also, you find it with anxiety and ADHD, that hyper-focus component, 100%. So it's all about
my
moderation.
Curiosity in that specific piece, because I don't like work so closely with individuals who are like dealing with eating disorders, right? So this is just me kind of like talking out loud and wondering, because it's not rules, like if you don't do it, it's so bad, but it gives a structure, right? And sometimes I would think, and because I feel this way sometimes with food, is having something where there's no structure and it's just all encompassing, like eat healthy.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? And now I'm stressed because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, right? And so could that be something where, okay, this is giving you some structure so that maybe you don't get into analysis paralysis of like, what am I supposed to be eating? Or how do I eat? I liked that part of it because now it's like, okay, I'm focusing on eating healthy, but I should be eating this variety versus just like having a salad with anything on it, right? In order for me to get what I'm looking for as far as like results, you know what I mean? For lack of a better term, but.
Well, and I think, again, it's all guidelines. And to your point, Cece, when you're working with those individuals and you're thinking about this book, it is a stressing. These are just guidelines. Do you like these? Could you expose yourself to these? Could you try to eat more of these? And it would go the same point with the supplements, right? I have to have these, and I have to spend all of this money, and and becoming over obsessed with the supplementation component, because it's not just foods, it's supplements. He covers both of them, right? His nutraceuticals, because the God's honest truth is the U.S. soil has been depleted of minerals for decades and decades and decades, and I'm a farm girl, so just trust me on this. It actually started recording it in the 1930s, and then with the over-farming of the 60s and 70s, because of industrialization, it's done. So I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't need to be supplemented on some form, right? I don't know. We talked about it's a little frustrating. You hear Brain MD, Brain MD, Brain MD, and that's his nutraceutical company, right? And yes, it does. I'm like, shut up. I get it. And this is kind of like the same point with last month's book. I get it. I get it, right? Me being an informed consumer, having been consuming supplements since I was in my 20s, it's overkill. I want to punch him. However, individuals who are not well informed about it, it gives them a starting place, right? So I think that's helpful. But I certainly think that it's in there one too many times.
It's in there a lot, because I think with this book and with the insight he's giving you, right? Like, as soon as you hear a place to go to begin the process, you maybe need to hear it once or twice and you're already sold. I've already looked it up and I'm Googling and like looking at how much it costs. So you don't have to keep inundating me with it.
But I mean, in his point, he does say like choose the chapters that are about you. So maybe
It's
since
not
we're
as-
reading it, the whole thing, maybe that's why
That makes sense.
it's pounding us in the head of like, yeah, I got it.
Because everybody's not going to read the
Because
entire
not
book.
everybody is more than likely going to read the whole thing, right? So with that, we'll go back to, right, he has done, you know, he tells you how many SPECT scans. I can't even, 200,000, I actually happen to be at the right page, go me. 200,000 brain SPECT scans and over 3 million questionnaires. So that gives you a lot of information on patterns, right? And that, wow. So with all of those 200,000 SPECT scans, he's been able to look at them and put them in compartments, right? Categorize. And he discovered that there are 5 primary brain types: balanced, spontaneous, persistent, sensitive, and cautious. Those are the big 5, right? But then there are brain types 6 through 16 that are combinations of 2 through 5, right? So combinations of spontaneous, persistent, sensitive, and cautious, making up a total of 16 different brain types, right? So I think that is very helpful. So anybody want to guess what my brain type is?
I would say. I kind of
Are you
say
spontaneous, cautious? I feel like I need to look at them, but I feel. What page is that on? I know the brain typing starting here. I found that already. There we are. Also, in the audiobook, he's going, it's so many lists, which I love that it's list heavy, because when I'm reading the physical book, right, I'm like, okay, I don't have to read a bunch of paragraphs. I can kind of like look at this really quickly. But listening to it, it's like, okay, you can stop talking. Like, this list is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so I will give you a clue. What I am now is not what I've always been. That will probably help you more.
I'm kind of going between 8 and 9.
Between 8 and 9. Spontaneous, persistent, sensitive, cautious.
All the things.
Or persistent, sensitive, cautious. Okay? Which
I want to say 6.
Spontaneous, persistent?
Now, but at some point you were 13.
Spontaneous, cautious. Okay. So I will say right now I am balanced.
Okay.
Oh, look at you.
I am balanced. However, I would say before spontaneous, persistent, sensitive.
Oh, the sensitive.
Yeah, I'm not on the radar for cautious. I'm the fire sign, so I am full force Sagittarius. spontaneous, like yep.
Well-
Let's go. Persistent. I'm never gonna if something needs to be done, something needs to be done. I ain't gonna forget that something needs to be done. Right.
The cautious for me came from, I remember you saying your anxiety used to be a lot worse than what it is now.
Because I was so.
Yeah.
I did it to myself,
Right.
But cautious, no,
Gotcha.
no, not it, not at all, not at all. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
What do we think you are?
Y'all already know what I am.
Spontaneous?
Yep, just 2. Nothing else goes
Yep,
with it.
Yep. You were full on spontaneous.
Nothing
yes.
else goes with it.
I will give you that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miss Cece, I would say 9.
Yep.
Persistent, sensitive, and cautious.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
I was
yep.
reading it. I was like, that's me. That's me too.
What? Yeah. Yep. Still me. Still me. Still me. Right. I love how he talks about the brain. And I mean, he does a great job, right? I just took my QEEG certification, right? It's all about the brain. I was like, dang, I remember reading, I wish I would have read this like right before I took it would have helped, right? And then taking the neuro physiology last semester, the way he lays it out, I was like, dang, man, that's okay. It's fine. I passed everything. We're good. But he also talks about the chemicals of happiness, right? We've got handouts in the office about that with the dopamine and serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, GABA, endocannabinoids, cortisol, all of those things he relates back to the brain on those 16 types of who has what and who has not enough of, right? And then he goes further to then give you the dietary, the foods that are going to help you shore that up, right? And then the supplements, that the nutraceuticals that also go with that. So it is very, very helpful in guiding you if you've never done this type of stuff before. And here's full circle, right? I'm balanced. I actually went home and pulled all of my supplements and pulled up his supplements that he recommends. And y'all, I'm taking everything that he recommends, right? And I have been for a solid, 6 years.
Makes sense.
Right? And that's when I did all of my expansion in my practice with taking on interns and associates and then leaning into a bigger space and then the neurofeedback and on all of that, right? I don't know how well I would have managed it. I also did lots of neurofeedback in there as well, y'all, to do some of the corrections and take advantage of the new juicier brain that I had. Right? So
The butter brain.
do what?
The brain. He said the brain's like butter, soft butter.
It is. It is. And so that goes into, his bright minds, right? And talking about all the things that affect our brains. Blood flow is the first one, right? We talked about that. That's the SPECT that shows us that. Retirement and aging. Your brain ages, right? It happens. Inflammation. What is the cause of inflammation? Is it your diet, right? 6 years ago, I cleaned up and have been really hardcore about it ever since. Found out my body doesn't like gluten. It doesn't like corn. It doesn't like dairy. It hates sugar. So really cleaning that up and learning how to live that way. It's overwhelming if I were to look at you and say, take all of those things out right now. Well, I didn't. I mean, I slowly integrated. I know what I can buy when I'm at the grocery store. It's not analysis paralysis, right? It's a process. So genetics, there are certain things, like we see certain genetic or electrical patterns that run in families, right, with ADHD and the anterior cingulate that is not working as well, the limbic system that's not working as well. That's a genetic component. You can't do anything about that. You can just work with it, right? Head trauma, brain like butter. So people are like, well, I've never had a concussion. Okay, well, let's go back to shaken baby syndrome. There's a reason why it hurts them. You're no different. Matter of fact, your skull is harder than theirs is at that point in time. Oops, you've been in how many car accidents? Whiplash. Well, it was just, it was just a rear end. Well, that forward motion, you just shook that jelly against hard plates, right? Your skull is hard. Right behind your eyes, there's this sharp ridge. It does a lot of damage, and that's actually right there at the anterior cingulate. Eeks, that's going to make you emotional, right? He talks about toxins. We just talked with a client today about remediation of mold. It's a big deal. Maybe you don't affect or don't react to that type of mold, but somebody else in your family does. It's a big deal, right? They were just talking about how the children are not having meltdowns anymore, right? Where the meltdowns were persistent and all encompassing. You start seeing those new little things happen, right? Mental health issues. Some of these are, family genetic, and some of them are not. Immunity and infections. If you're fighting something, your body can't. It's got to put all the troops in the military at that one, and the other one doesn't get taken care of. Neurohormone issues. My thyroid is not happy right now. It's causing some issues, right? Thyroid's a big one that affects mental health. But diabetes, I like how he rolled those two together, right? And then sleep. All of these things are important. That's why we talk about clients when they first come in. What's your sleep like? What's your nutrition like? What's your movement like, right? We're hitting big pieces of this bright mind. Those are all in your control. Why wouldn't you
try to do them?
Right?
Yeah.
But that goes back to, we're working with people with mental health issues that in this office, we see a lot of anxiety. So are we going to push them over the edge where they become compulsive about it? Right? Fine line.
Yeah.
It's all about how we present it
Yes.
to them, right? Pick one of these foods on this list to add to your diet, right? Rather than saying, here you go to the grocery store,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're guiding them.
We're guiding them. We're not saying this is
The cure-all.
the cure-all, right?
Exactly. I think even in this book, it kind of does that too. Like the whole beginning is talking about like the things within yourself that are in your control, in the sense of like what you're putting into your body, because all that is like super big stuff. But I like how towards the end of the book he starts talking about your relationships and how you communicate with yourself, and just like you being in charge of those things. And he said something about your thoughts. I need to find the quote, but
The ants.
Oh,
yes,
autonomic
it was the
negative
ants,
thoughts.
but he also mentioned like it was a quote about worrying being one of the it like causes, for lack of better, like your brain to die, like the worrying and like always like ruminating on bad thoughts. And so it's just, yes, you can do all of those things, but you're gonna have to work on yourself and be intentional about like how you communicate with yourself and with the world, right? We can't, science says we can't not do that part too, right? Because you can have everything else good. Granted, it might help alleviate how you're thinking about your world, but we also have to address that.
Absolutely.
And so I was very appreciative of that. And he does talk in a big portion, I think, a big chunk about relationships and like how to communicate in your relationship and your marriage and stuff. And so I really appreciated that part of the book because includes everything, and everything is so important.
It's that holistic component. And that's, as a psychiatrist, this is one of the reasons why I love his stuff. He's not about, here's your script and go on about your day, right? He's putting the control back in your hands, but highlighting that you have to do the work,
Yep.
right? You can't just take a pill or take a nutraceutical or change your diet and everything's going to be all wonderful. You still have to have hard conversations but again, going back and if you're doing the movement and you're doing the nutrition and you're doing the sleep, those things should be easier to do, right?
Yep.
I like that he says you're not stuck with the brain you have. You can make it better
Absolutely.
because it is in our control.
Absolutely. To go back to the lung cancer thing, I people thought it was such a death sentence, but what I learned way back then was that once you quit smoking, if you make it 7 years without lung cancer, you're pretty much in the clear. Like your lungs will have healed
Regenerated.
themselves, right? We can do the same thing with our brain. It's not just that's the brain I was given, so here we go. Like, no, you can actively work on it, right? And that's what I like about the neurofeedback is that also helps the brain to make those new pathways with those new cells, because you're making new neurons every second, just like you are in every other part of your body, right? And if we make a new baby cell and tell it to go this direction instead of this direction, then we are fixing damage, right?
I like too the way that he made things easy to understand. So like the ants, like mentioning that, right? Automatic negative thoughts and like breaking that stuff. Yeah, and breaking that stuff down. But then also like your dragon, like your internal, like your mental dragon is what he called it. But just like doing that so that people can visualize it, and like, because some people connect easier with that than me just telling you words.
Yes.
Right.
This one has always been my favorite.
The raccoon.
The raccoon, right? Because I 100% relate to that. I have always had a little raccoon in my brain, and they wreak havoc, right? They're cute and cuddly, but they wreak havoc. So it's kind of like goes back to that whole devil and angel type analogy that a lot of people have. You have this little squirrely raccoon up there that will act like a 5-year-old, right? And totally take you off course. And you're like, but yeah, I have to tell my brain all the time, like, no, we're not doing that, right? That spontaneous piece of me as well. Like, no, that's not the grown-up thing to do. Close your mouth, turn around, walk off. Like I said, it's gotten a lot easier now that I give my brain what it needs.
Yeah, he had a bunch of good like acronyms as well.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
I also like on page 146 where he talks about the 4 basics everyone needs to be happy, right? He is telling you right here, yes, we all need a multivitamin, multi-mineral, and he lays it out, the deficiency that Americans are at, and it's pretty insane. And he talks about Dr. Hyman, and Dr. Hyman is a big Dr. MD that is in this realm as well, in functional medicine. But then he goes into, and he also talks about your medications. Are your medications making you sad, right? If you're taking antacids, you're decreasing your stomach acid and calcium and phosphorus and folic acid and potassium, which creates dysbiosis, right? And causes overgrowth of unhealthy bacteria, where we have got all of these studies that talk about your gut health really being the key to your mental health, right? So making sure that you're taking a good probiotic is huge. And then he talks about, vitamin D, and you just need to be taking it omegas. Anybody who has any kind of spontaneity definitely needs to be taking their omegas. That's the ADHD gold.
I could have shared my sardines for lunch.
Yes, you did. You can keep them. You can keep them. I can't go that far.
I haven't tried them yet, but my best friend did it, and she was like, I can't do it. And she eats other things, and so I was like, like healthy people things, that like lentils. I don't like them.
Oh, I love lentils.
It's a texture thing,
Oh, yeah.
but she's more open.
But you like seaweed, so if you like seaweed, you can definitely do sardines.
Yeah, you'll like
To me,
it.
they're very.
But
like,
the idea of a fish.
It's like tuna.
yeah.
I know, but it's like the actual like.
Don't look at it.
Chop the head off of it. Eat the rest of it.
No, but I don't want to feel
You
fins.
smash it.
Yeah, you do. Well, you do.
Okay.
I made it like ceviche. So brain healthy.
Okay. You have to make it for me so I can try it, or send me the recipe. Yeah, because I can't get past like it's from water to mouth. Is what it looks like.
Well, they're so small, it doesn't matter, right? So, anyways,
I do think
good stuff.
this is really great. And going back to what you're saying, like like our medications making you sad is kind of like the part where you're coming from. But there's female hormones on here and oral contraceptives, and it's like whether you're taking hormones or not, you have your hormones as a woman change every week
Right,
of
which
the
rolls
month.
into
Yeah.
CC's eating for her cycle, and I know lots of individuals who do it and swear by it. So
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I don't think we were ever meant to live without having to think about like being intentional about ourselves. Is where I'm getting.
well, if we would go back to just eating from the land,
Oh, we wouldn't have to be so
we
intentional.
wouldn't have to be so intentional, right? And if we hadn't exhausted our land, then you eat what is in season because that's what you need during that season, right? We wouldn't be able to have, avocados year round and, cantaloupes year round. We just pull them from a different country,
Yeah.
right? But that's not the way we're supposed to live. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's a totally different.
Yeah. Different tangent.
Yeah, and I'm good for them, so I will
agree.
shut my mouth.
I agree.
So, all right. Well, I think that takes us to right about where we're supposed to be landing. Next month is Are You Mad at Me by Meg Josephson. And she is an LCSW. So this is a therapist writing a book.
So it'll be interesting. Cece started. You said it's good, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I
so
already
far.
got some stickies.
Yep,
No?
she's already got stickies, which I love.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, we will reconvene in a month-ish.
Yep.